Hi there guys, Riath here from tabletopminis.com and welcome to the first in our series called Just Epic. And in this series we're going to be playing larger battles. We're going to be doing some exciting, interesting things that you won't see in our normal battle reports. So today we're going to be playing a 4-player game. It's called a Convergence of Fate. It's a battle plan, a new one that has come with as a mail order exclusive. So if you've ordered anything from Games Workshop recently, you might have received it in the post. So we've got Aad here playing with the dwarfs, myself playing with high elves, Lala, the latest addition to our production team, she's going to be playing with the stormcasts, and Yahe with the Skaven. So it should be a really interesting game, and let's show you the armies. Okay, so here we've got the Chaos Army, and that's led by Archaon. And then we have a Skaven Warlord and Korgus Kull. And on the Skaven side we've got 20 Storm Vermin with full command. We have a Warp Lightning Cannon. We have 2 weapons teams, a Poison Wind Globe weapons team and a Warpfire Thrower. We then have 20 Clan Rats and a Packmaster with 2 Ogres, and we've got a Warlock Engineer there. And then over on the Chaos side of the army we've got 5 Blood Warriors, 20 Reavers with command. We have a Bloodsecrator and a Bloodstoker with a Korgorath. So quite a large Chaos warband here. And here we've got the High Elves, and they're led by Prince Imric on his dragon, Minithir. And then we have Tyrion and Teclis, the brothers. And we have a Mage. And behind them we have 8 Silverhelms with full command. We have a Lion Chariot. We have 2 Great Eagles and a Repeater Bolt Thrower. And then we have 10 Swordmasters with full command, and we have 20 High Elf Archers with full command, and that's going to be the High Elf force. And here we have the Duarden army, and that's led by Belagar Ironhammer. He's accompanied by a Rune Priest and a Dragon Slayer. And then behind him we have 10 Longbeards with full command. We have 10 Hammerers with full command. We have a Jarrow Bomber. And we have 20 Dwarf Warriors with full command. And then in the artillery detachment we have a Grudge Thrower, an Organ Gun and a Dwarf Cannon. And we also have Grimber Loxen, who is a Dwarf Engineer who will be with them. So that is the Duarden army. And here we have the Stormcast Eternals, the Hammers of Sigmar, led by Vandus Hammerhand on Dracoth. And then we have a Lord Castellant with Gryph-hound. And behind him we have 5 Liberators, we have 3 Retributors, then we have Ionis Cryptborn, the Lord Relictor, and then another unit of 5 Liberators, and finally we have 3 Prosecutors with Prosecutor Prime. So that is the Stormcast Eternal Army. So here we've got the battlefield set up, and the scenario we're playing is called a Convergence of Fate. So we have 4 armies that are marching alongside each other to this relic, or to try and capture the relic in the middle, which we've represented by the Dragon Fate dais. And the deployment zones here are marked out by dice. So we have 1 in this corner, 1 in that corner. They're all got a 12-inch gap between each other. And the objective of this scenario is to have as many models as you can in the middle at the end of turn 6. And there's some special rules for this scenario that are quite interesting. And basically you can make secret alliances with each other to try and get the objective at the end of turn 6 or before, if any one army is completely wiped out. So at the start of every turn we all make our secret alliances. So we've used some little paper things here where we'll just write our ally that we'd like and our enemy, and then we do this secretly. We all do that every battle round, and then we show all of the paper cards. And for an alliance to be valid, both you and the person that you'd like to ally with have to have put each other on the alliance part of the paper card. So also every general has a command ability called Hidden Agenda, where they can if they use that, they can break the alliance that they've made. So if you're going to sort of go last in the battle rounds, you know, you could potentially make an alliance. Your opponent doesn't attack you in his turn, but then you use your command ability and then sort of stab him in the back, which I'm sure the Skaven are probably quite likely to be doing.
No,
so
they're very trustworthy.
It's a really interesting scenario, and we've got a lot of models to deploy here, so we'll come back in deployment. We're playing in the realm of life, and we're also going to roll for mystical terrain, so we'll come back after deployment. Okay, so we're going to roll to see who gets to pick their deployment area and deploy first. Okay, so
dwarves roll a 3.
Dwarfs get 3, and that's a 2 for the Skaven, and for the Hammers of Sigmar, that's a 1, and for the Elves, a 6. So it's High Elves to pick first, then Dwarfs, Skaven, and then Sigmar, or Hammers of Sigmar. So I think as the Elves, I'm going to pick this corner here, and then next it's the Dwarden to choose.
I'll pick this corner here.
Typical that, isn't it? Dwarfs in a hill. What could possibly be getting deployed up there? And then Skaven?
I will pick this corner.
Okay, so Skaven for this corner, and then that's going to leave the Hammers of Sigmar over here. So we'll deploy the units and then we'll come back. Okay, so we've finished deployment. We have the Hammers of Sigmar here over in the corner, and they're kind of bunched up at the front with Vandus and all the units behind. They chose not to use the lightning strike to bring the troops in and rather start on the board. And we have the Dwarden or the Dwarfs over here, and artillery on the hill, and all the rest in front. We have over on this side the Chaos and the Skaven, or the Skaven part of the Chaos now, all bunched up at the borders, getting ready to charge. And the same with the High Elves, sort of all on the borders here. So that is deployment over. Okay, so now I'm going to give everybody one of these little slips that they can write their ally and their preferred enemy on. And then we write them down in secret, and then we'll have a look at them and see if there's any alliances that have been made. So we have wrote down our allies and enemies, so let's see what they are. So the Chaos, they'd like to ally with the Elves, and their enemy is the Dwarden this turn. The Stormcasts, that's over here, they would like to ally with the Elves, and their enemy is the Chaos. The Dwarfs, they have chosen, or they want to ally with the Elves, so everybody wants to ally with the Elves, and their enemy is the Chaos. And the Elves have chose to ally with the Stormcast, and they are enemies with the Chaos. So the only actual alliance that will go through here is the Elves with the Hammers of Sigmar, because that's a mutual alliance, but the enemies still count for everybody. So if you've got an enemy, you can reroll to hits of a 1, so that's quite good. So, and there's also the command ability where you can kind of backstab your allies, so I can backstab you if I want, and I don't think. So next thing we need to do is roll to see who starts. So everybody roll a dice. So for the Chaos we have
5.
A 5. For the Dwarfs we have a 4. For the Stormcast we have a 2, and the Elves a 4. So me and the Dwarfs need to reroll. So I get 6 and you get 1. So it is the Chaos, then Elf, then Dwarf, and then finally Stormcast to go. So into battle round 1 for the Chaos.
Okay, start of Skaven, turn 1, and Archaon's going to use his command ability Inspiring Presence on the Storm Vermin here. Okay, so now he's going to roll for his Eye of Shrian. That's going to be a 6, so any hit rolls made against him that are a 6, they have to be re-rolled. Okay, now the Bloodstoker here, he's actually going to whip Archaon, which means Archaon gets a +3 to his run and charge. Now the Blood Secretor over here, he's going to throw down his Portal of Skulls, which means anyone with a Khorne keyword in them within 18 inches can have an extra attack and are immune to battle shock. That's the end of the hero phase and into the movement phase, and my Warp Fire Thrower here, he's going to run, so that's going to be 6 plus 1, so he's going to run 7 inches up to here. Now my Warlock Engineer, he's just going to move up 6 inches. I'll put him there. Now the Rat Ogres, they're going to run as well, so that's going to be 6 inches plus 1, 7 inches. Now the Packmaster, he's just going to move up 6 inches. Okay, now Storm Vermin, they're going to run up 6 inches plus 4, 10 inches. in that forest there, so they get the +1 save. Okay, now the warlord here, he's going to run 6 inches plus 6, so that's 12 inches. Okay. Okay, now Archeon, he's just going to move up 10 inches into the forest over here. Okay, now the clan rats, they're going to run 6 inches plus 1, so 7 inches. Blood Stoker here, he's going to be moving up 6 inches. Korgorath is going to be moving up 6 inches as well. Korgus Kull, he's just going to be moving up 5 inches. Now these Blood Reavers, they're going to just be moving up 6 inches. Over here. Now the Blood Warriors, they're going to move up 5 inches. And my Warp Lightning Cannon, he's just going to shuffle up 3 inches. And finally, the Poisoned Wind Mortar team is just going to move up 6 inches. Just to here. Okay, that was the end of the movement and into the shooting phase. My Warp Lightning Cannon here, he's going to shoot at the warriors, dwarf warriors here. So, going to roll a power dice. And it's a 6. Ooh, that's not good. Okay, so I'm going to roll 6 attacks now. 6s do mortal wounds. Okay, so 1 6, so 1 warrior is dead.
One guy dead. And that'll count for battle throw.
Okay, now my Poisoned Wind Mortar team is going to shoot at the warriors, so that's 1 attack, 4+ to hit, which it doesn't make. Okay, that's a shooting over and into the charge phase, and Archeon over here, he's going to try and charge these warriors. We already pre-measured it, it's going to be needing 8 because, well, it was originally 11, but you -3 because he's been whipped by the Blood Stoker, so he's going to need an 8 to make the charge, and he doesn't. Okay, now the Blood Reavers over here, they're going to try and charge Tyrion and the Eagles over there. That's going to be 6 inches. See if they make it. Ah, and they don't on a 3. Wow, bad rolls. Okay, and now the Blood Warriors, they're going to try and charge that Great Eagle over there. So that's going to need a
7 inches.
7. Okay, so that's going to be... Oh, and they make it on an 8. So they're in. Now the Korgorath over here is going to try and charge the Swordmasters. He's going to need an 8 to make the charge. And he does not make it. Okay, so that was the end of the charge phase, and now into the combat phase. Only my Blood Warriors here made it into the combat with the Great Eagle over there. So my Blood Warriors are just going to pile in. Okay, so that's going to be 16 attacks, 3 to hit. That's 11 hits, 4+ to wound now. Okay, that's 6 wounds, so that's going to be 6+ saves for the Great Eagle. And oh, so takes all 6, so he's dead, yeah.
Okay, so Tyrion's going to attack back now. So we'll start with Sunfang. So that's 6 attacks, and we're hitting on 3s. That is 5 hits. We're wounding on 3s. Or actually, we get to reroll that 1 because
yeah, that's
he's
right.
a chosen enemy.
Yeah.
So all of them hit. Wounding on 4s. Or 3, sorry. That is 3 wounds. And -2 rend.
Okay,
so it's a 6+ save for the Blood Warriors.
Okay, so no saves.
Okay, and that's 3d3 wounds.
Yeah.
Because Sunfang does a d3 each, so that's 2, 4, 6 wounds.
6 wounds.
So
okay,
that's
so that's 3
of
dead.
them dead, but they can attack back because of their no respite.
Yeah. So that's before them three guys die, they get to attack back. So that's gonna be 9 attacks, hitting on 3s. Okay, and wounding on 4s. Okay, so that is going to be 4 wounds.
And 3+ save. So 1 wound. So he's down to 5.
Okay.
And Malhandir's hooves, that's 2 attacks, hitting on 4s. Can reroll the 1 because he's enemy. So no attacks, no hits there. So my archers are going to pile in now. So they're going to come around here. So the archers here, they've piled in. They've got 10 attacks here, hitting with the bows on 5s. And I can reroll 1s, which I don't have any of. So that is 4 hits. Wounding on 5s also. That is 1 wound and no rend, so 4+ save.
4+ save, yeah. which he doesn't make.
1 extra wound, so...
So 1 wound on that guy over there. Okay, so now into the battle shock phase, and the only battle shock we've got to make here is for the dwarf warriors.
And their bravery 6.
Yeah,
so
and they lost
anything
1.
other than a 6 and it'll be okay.
So 3. So
Okay,
there.
okay.
Now that's the end of the battle shock, and that's going to be the end of Chaos turn 1 and into High Elf turn 1.
So here we go into turn 1 for the elf. So we'll start the turn by doing all of the befuddle tests for anybody within 3 inches of this forest. So we'll start with the silver helms here. We need 2+. And they're okay. Repeater bolt thrower. Oh, that's befuddled, so let's put markers. Silver helms are ensorcelled, and we'll put befuddled on the repeater bolt thrower. Now for the for Imric, he's okay, so he is ensorcelled, means he can reroll 2 wounds. And now the Teclis here in the woods, 2+, which he makes, so he is also ensorcelled. And the mage over the other side there, 2+, which is okay, so he's ensorcelled also. Oh, I'll just put an upside down befuddled token there. Also the swordmasters within 3 inches, so 2+, which they're okay, so they're ensorcelled also. And that's the befuddled. And my warlord here, Prince Imric, he's going to use his command ability, which is called Lord of Dragons. So what that does, it allows him to reroll failed to hit rolls for any dragon in my army, which is basically just Imric himself. Okay, so we'll start by Teclis trying to cast Shield of Sapphire, and he knows that because the mage is within 16 inches and any highborn wizard, he knows spells from them. So it's got a cast value of 6, and Korgus Kull's within 18 inches, so he can attempt to unbind, but I do get a +3 to my, +2 to my cast rolls because of Blessings of Lilith. So we need 4+, and we get an 11 plus, well, +2, that makes 13, so it actually means
I can't unbind that.
Yeah, you can't unbind it. So Shield of Sapphire is on him. I'll just put a little marker to show this marker here, and that means anybody within 18 inches gets an additional 6+ ward save on top of their normal save. Next, Teclis is going to attempt to cast Arcane Bolt on the Blood Reavers over here, so it's got a cast value of 5, so I need 3+, which I make on 4, so add 2 to that, I get 6.
Okay, I'm gonna
you
try
can
and unbind that.
attempt to unbind it with your dog's collar.
So I need 6+.
So 6+, when he gets double 1, so it goes off. So that's a D3 mortal wounds on the Reavers. Oh, cocked again. It's 1 wound, so,
Okay, so 1 Reaver.
one Reaver's dead. And lastly, Teclis is going to cast Mystic Shield on Prince Imric. So that's got a cast value of 6, so I need a 4+, which he makes. So Mystic Shield's on Imric. And lastly, my mage is going to cast Arcane Bolt on the Blood Secretor over there. So it's got a cast value of 5. Which I make on 10, so that's a D3 mortal wounds on the Blood Square. He's got 5 wounds, so that's 2 wounds, so he's down to 3 wounds. So we're into the movement phase. I'll start with the Silver Helms. They're going to move 12, just to move up here. And now the Lion Chariot, it can move 9, so I'm going to just take it to within 3 inches of the Bloodstoker here. Next, Imric's just going to move up to here, so with staying 3 inches away from the Bloodstoker. And now the Swordmasters, they're just going to move up to within 3 inches of the Blood Reavers, getting ready for a big charge here. And next, my Eagle, he's just going to move to around here. So possibly get a charge on the Blood Warriors if I can't finish them off in the shooting phase. Tyrion is going to move up to here within 3 inches of the Reavers. And Teclis, he's just going to come out of the cover here. And I'm just going to move him over here, so he can't get befuddled. And the same with my mage here, I'm just going to move him up to here, just get him away from the mystical forest. And that's the movement over, so into shooting now. The dragon, he's going to use his dragon fire on the Blood Secretor. He's within 12 inches, so that's a d6 to see how many mortal wounds this is going to be, which is a 1, so it's just a single mortal wound. He's down to 2 wounds. Next, Sunfang is going to, he's going to throw Sunfang at the, or he's going to shoot at the Blood Warriors here, so that's 6 attacks, hitting on 3s. And I can reroll ones because I've got like I hate them because of special rules here. So that is 4 hits, wounding on 4s. That is 2 wounds and no rend, so
it's 4 plus saves.
4 plus save, 2 4+ saves, which
so that's
1 wound, so that's one of them's dead, and just the champion remains. And next, the archers here are going to shoot at the Blood Reavers. So we've got 20 attacks that are hitting on 4s, and that is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 hits. We are wounding on 4s. So that is 7 wounds, no rend. So they don't have any save, do they?
No, they don't.
So that is 7 Reavers are dead. So charge phase, and Prince Imric's going to charge the Korgorath. So we need 4+, which we make on 5. So in he goes. Just place him here. And the chariot's going to charge the Bloodstoker. So we need 3+, which we make on 4. Just making them here. And now the Swordmasters are going to charge the Reavers. So we need a 3, which we make on 11. And now Tyrion's going to charge the Reavers. So a 3+, which he makes, and in he goes. Like quite a big charge we've got here. And my eagle, he's going to charge the last Blood Warrior here, so 3+, which he makes, so in he goes also. That's the end of the charge phase. So we'll start the combat phase with the Swordmasters here, and they're all within an inch of the Reavers. So we've got 11 attacks, and them 11 attacks are hitting on 3s, and I can reroll 1s because I hate him this turn. So that is 10 hits. We're wounding on 3s also. So, and we can reroll to wound because they are ensorcelled. So I can reroll these. It's going to be quite a hefty damage, I think. So that is 9 wounds with -1 rend, but you don't get a save.
Yeah,
so
that's 9 dead.
9 of them dead. Ooh, quite a lot. So next, the Chaos are going to attack with the Blood Warrior champion against the archers. So that's 4 attacks, hitting on 3s,
Okay.
2 hits, wounding on
4s.
4s, 1 wound, and
No rend.
no rend. So that is a 6+ save, I believe, which he doesn't make. So 1 archer is dead. So I'll choose to attack with Imric on the Korgorath next. So we'll use his Star Lance. And because we charge, we get +1 to wound and +1 damage. So it's 3 attacks, hitting on 3s. 3 hits, wounding on 3s. All 3 wound. And that's got a -1 rend.
It's going to be 5+ save.
So that's 5+ save, 3 5+ saves. And that's 2 go through, and they do 3 damage each. So he's dead.
No, he's not actually. 'cause
Is
he's
he not?
got 8 wounds.
All right, okay, so he's on 2 wounds. Korgorath's down to 2 wounds. And next we'll use the Dragon's Claws. So we get 6 attacks here. The claws here are hitting on 4s. I can reroll 1s. So that is 2 4 hits, wounding on 3s. And I can reroll 1s because I can reroll all failed to wound because he is ensorcelled. So wounding on 4s. So that is 2 wounds. And -1 rend.
Okay, so it's going to be 5+.
So 5+ save, 2 5+ saves. That's 1 goes through, and it does 2 damage.
2 damage, so he's actually dead.
Yeah, Korgorath is dead. And now the Blood Reavers are going to attack the Swordmasters here. So that's
10 attacks.
3 attacks each, 4 for the champion, 10 attacks, hitting on
4s.
4s.
Reroll
So-
1s.
Okay, yeah, reroll 1s for Reaver Blades. So that is do 6 hits, wounding on
4s.
4s. Wow, that's 1 wound and
No rend.
no rend, so that is a 4+ save, which I don't make, so that's 1 wound, and 1 of the Swordmasters is dead. Because Shield of Sapphire is cast, I can get a 6+ ward save for that, which I don't make, so he still dies. And actually, I forgot about the Shield of Safri for that one archer as well. I'll just roll for that now. No, he doesn't make it either, so no saves. And next we'll do the Lion Chariot here, attacking the Bloodstoker. So the Creation Great Axes, 4 attacks hitting on 3s. I can reroll that 1 because of hatred. So they all hit. Wounding on 3s. So they all wound, and a -1 rend.
Okay, so it's going to be 5+.
5+ save for the Bloodstoker. That is 4 wounds.
So he's down to 1 wound.
Down to 1 wound. And now the White Lion's Fangs and Claws. So normally 4 attacks, but 8 because it's charged. They're hitting on 4s. I can reroll 1s here. So that is 5 hits, wounding on 3s. So that is 4 wounds with no rend. So
that's 4+ saves.
4+ saves, and he's only got a single wound left. So he's dead.
Wow, yeah.
Just died there, just enough damage to kill him. So pretty good charge. Now Korgur's Skull is going to pile in towards the Swordmasters. He has to pile in towards the closest model there. We'll start with the Axe of Khorne, and he gets an extra attack because of the Portal of Skulls. So it's 4 attacks, hitting on 3s.
Okay,
So that's 3 hits, wounding on 3s.
Okay,
Well, that's only 1 wound. And
-1 rend.
-1 rend, so that's a 5+ save. Which I don't make.
So that's D3 damage.
Yep.
5, so that's 3.
Damage. So because Shield of Safri, that's 3 6+ saves. That's 1 saved, so that's 2 wounds, so 2 of them are dead. And now the Flesh Hound's Blood Dark Claws, so that's 5 attacks, hitting on 3s. Whoa, only 1 hit, and
So
wounding on
4s.
4s.
So it's
1 wound, and it's a 4+ save because there's no rend, which he makes, so no damage there. And now Tyrion is going to attack the Reavers, so he's got 6 attacks with Sunfang, hitting on 3s. Can reroll 1s here. So that is 5 hits. We're wounding on 3s. That is 3 wounds. And they don't get any save, do they? So that's 3d3 damage. So that is 4, 5, 6 wounds. So that's the Reavers wiped out.
Yeah.
And now the Great Eagle on the Blood Warrior Champion. Because we charge, we get 6 attacks and they're hitting on 4s. I can reroll 1s because I hate them. So that is 5 hits. We're wounding on 3s. That's 2 wounds. And there's no rend.
So that's 2 4+ saves.
2 4+ saves.
Which he
They
makes.
both make, so the Eagle doesn't do any damage there. Wow. The archers are going to pile in. Maybe the archers can do a little more damage than the Reavers or the Eagle managed to do there. So we've got 8 archers here, hitting on 5s. Can reroll 1s. So that is 2 hits. We're wounding on 5s. 1 wound, and no rend, so
4+.
4+ save, and that's 1 wound on him. So he's down to 1 wound.
Yeah.
So that's combat over, and we're into Battle Shock, and the archers took 1 casualty, so they're bravery 6. So, ooh, and they get a 6, so 6 plus the 1 that they took, so that's 1 of them flee. And now the Swordmasters here, they took 3 casualties, and the bravery 7, so that's 2 plus 3, 5, so none of them flee. And that's the end of the Battle Shock phase. So we're now into Dwarf's turn 1. So here we go.
Okay, so start of the Dwarf turn 1 into the hero phase. And we've got a befuddled test for the artillery and the gyro bomber. So for the gyro bomber, he's okay. The organ gun, he's okay. Grimbrel Oxen, he's okay. The grudge thrower, he's okay. And the cannon, he's okay. And my general's going to cast Inspiring Presence on the Dwarf Warriors. And lastly, the Rune Lord's going to try and cast Forge Fire on the organ gun. So we need a 2+, and that's made it. So that's a +1 on the rend of the organ gun. So into the movement phase, and the hammers are going to move forward 4 inches. The Dragon Slayer is going to move up 4 inches as well. And that's the end of Dwarf movement, so into the shooting phase. Okay, so the Gyrocopter, he's going to shoot the Clatter Gun at the Warp Fire Thrower team here. So it's 4 attacks with a 4+ to hit. So that's 2 hits. And I can reroll ones to hit because he's a enemy, nominated enemy. So that's 3 hits and a 3+ to wound. Oh, that's only 1 wound. And next, the organ gun here. He's going to shoot at the storm vermin here, and we're going to try and use all 4 barrels. So we need to roll 4+, and that fails. But because the engineer, I get to reroll that. And it fails, so the organ gun doesn't get to shoot this turn. The cannon is going to shoot at the Skaven warlord here with 2 shots, needing 4+ to hit. So that's 2 hits and 2+ to wound. So that is 2 wounds.
Okay, so it's gonna be 2 6+ saves for the warlord. Okay, so no, he done.
Both failed, so that's 2d6 damage. That is 5 wounds.
5 wounds. So that's the Skaven warlord dead.
And the grudge thrower here, he's going to shoot at Archean here. So with 2 shots, needing 3+. So that's 1 hit, and I get to reroll failed hits because he's a grudge. And the grudge thrower is going to shoot at the warlock engineer here. So it's 2 shots with 3+ to hit. So that's 1 hit and to wound 3+. And it fails, but he is ensorcelled, so he gets to reroll that. And it's still a fail. So that's the end of dwarf shooting. Okay, so that's the end of the shooting phase, and we're not going to have any charges, and there's no combat or battle shock. So that's the end of Dwarden turn 1, and into the Stormcast turn 1.
Okay, this is the start of the hero phase, and my warlord Vandis is using his command ability, Lord of the Host. Okay, next my Lord Castellan is going to cast Warding Lantern onto the prosecutors, adding +1 to their save. There you go. Now Vandis is moving 10 inches towards the dwarves. Now my prosecutors are flying 12 inches over here. Now my Lord Relictor is moving 4 inches. Now my Lord Castellan is moving 5 inches this way, and his Griefhound is following him. Now my Liberators are going to run forward 5+3. I'm moving them right here. It's a bit crowded. Now my Retributors will run forward 4+4, which makes it 8 inches. Now my Liberators will run forward 5+1, 6 inches forward. Now it's the start of my shooting phase, and Vandis is going to use his Storm Breath on the Dragon Slayer. So I need a 4+ for it to go off, and it doesn't. Now my prosecutors are going to shoot the Dragon Slayer, and that's 6 attacks, hitting on 4+. So that's 3 hits, wounding on a 4+.
That's
It's just one wound.
And there is no rend, so he's got a 6+ save. 6+ save for the Dragon Slayer. And he fails that, so he is down to 4 wounds.
So it's start of the charge phase, and the Vandis is charging the Dragon Slayer, so I need 6 inches.
Ooh, and don't get it, double
Snake
one.
eyes!
So he just stays where he is.
Now the prosecutors are going to charge the Longbeards, and I need 5 inches for that. And they don't make it. So there is no combat, no battle shock, and it's the end of my turn.
Okay, so that is the end of Battle Round 1. It's been quite an interesting Battle Round 1. There's been some sneaky stuff going on, plenty of sneaky talking between the turns, and it looks like the dwarfs are fairly untarnished in the corner. The Hammers of Sigmar, they're untouched also. Chaos have had a bit of a beating over here with the elves charging in, and quite unlucky on the charge there with the Chaos. The Reavers could have done a lot of damage. Yeah. So we're into turn 2, so it's time to do another allies and enemies. So we'll give all the players a slip here, and let's find out who wants to ally and who wants to, or who's going to get picked as enemies for turn 2. It's been a nail-biting start of turn 2, and the polls are just in. We've got our tickets here. So for the Stormcast, they would like to ally with the elves, and they are enemy with the dwarfs. So Next, we have the elves. They would like to ally with the chaos and enemy with the dwarfs. There's a bit of a theme emerging here. And the who have we got here? The chaos would like to ally with the elves. So that's an alliance this turn. And they are enemy with the dwarves. And finally, the dwarfs were trying to ally with the Skaven and enemy with the Stormcast. So the only alliance that has gone off there is the elves with the chaos. And yeah, this should make for an interesting turn. So bit quiet in the dwarf corner over there.
I'm used to being surrounded on all sides. We'll see
Knows
how
what's
it works
coming.
out.
So we're rolling to see the order of battle round 2. So for the elves, we have a 3. For the chaos, he has a 5. The dwarfs have a 2. And the stormcasts have a 4. So it's going to go chaos, then stormcast, then elf, and finally the dwarfs.
Not good roll.